Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Trucking with Glenn. Tales from the driver's seat. I was just watching Robert Dennis Murphy's video, and he's saying the exact same thing I said in my video yesterday and a while back. But here's the thing. We have Florida up in arms, completely over the top with this guy that killed 3 people on the Florida Turnpike. And Florida saying that they don't issue non-domiciled CDLs or CDLs to illegal immigrants. Let me read this. Florida CDL fraud sparks concerns and Illinois licensing practices questioned. In Florida, let's see, this was written back on June 22nd, so this is a fairly recent article. Florida DMV workers were arrested for allegedly selling CDLs to undocumented immigrants without tests or training. Officials say the licenses were bought, not earned, putting untrained drivers on the road. That's exactly what I was saying in my video yesterday. DeSantis is telling everybody, we don't allow non-English speaking people on our roads. Their entire state is full of non-English speaking people from all over those Caribbean countries. In South America and Central America. So, Mr. DeSantis, while I appreciate what you're doing, you're trying to cover your butt, your state is one of the most egregious offenders out there for having people on the highways who do not speak English. Like I said, I've watched Florida-based trucks just fly past the scales, and 9 times out of 10, they don't have a freaking pre-pass. Or they run at night with, no lights on their trailers, mud flaps missing, tires just flopping around because they're flat. Just junk, absolute junk. Clean up your own backyard first before you start bad-mouthing other states. You have a major issue there. But in this one here, Bay County, Florida Sheriff says that they've seized over $120,000 in illicit proceeds tied to the operation of this operation of illegal CDLs. Evidence suggests that hundreds, if not more than 1,000 fraudulent driver's licenses were issued as a part of this scheme. It's been ongoing for over 2 years, and this investigation is continuing to be ongoing and will expand statewide as we work to identify those who receive licenses illegally and hold all parties accountable. I call BS on it. I don't think they really care. And then Illinois. Here's the issue in Illinois. Illinois State Representative Adam Nienberg, Republican, it says Dietrich, but whatever that means, expressed deep concern over the Florida reports and said if Illinois were giving CDLs to illegal immigrants with no training, it's not only illegal, it's dangerous. That's where the majority of the Eastern Bloc European and Russian drivers are getting their licenses. They're in Washington State. It says here, the Illinois Secretary of State said any claim saying that the state is engaging in giving CDLs to unqualified individuals is ridiculous and completely false. That's not. They've already been investigated. They found problems there here a few years ago. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. Let's see, let's back up here. They're dangerous and specifically designed to sow division and fear, stated spokesman Max Walshik. Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration regulations clearly authorize non-domiciled CDLs for individuals who are not U.S. citizens or lawful permanent residents, but are authorized under federal law to reside in the U.S. as evidenced by immigration documents. Let's look up something here. May a foreign driver with an employment authorization document obtain a CDL to operate a CMV in the United States? This is on the FMCSA. Guidance for this is, yes, a foreign driver holding an employment authorization document or an unexpired foreign passport accompanied by an approved Customs and Border Protection I-94 arrival departure record may obtain a non-domiciled CDL. However, drivers who are citizens of Canada and Mexico are not eligible for non-domiciled CDLs because FMCSA has determined that commercial licenses issued by Canadian provinces and territories and United Mexican states are in accordance with the standards established by our rules. Finally, a foreign driver who is in this country on an employment authorization document or an unexpired foreign Star 8471 passport accompanied by an approved CBP I-94 arrival departure record may not obtain a resident CDL since he or she is not domiciled in a U.S. state. So, and this was effective, made effective March 1st of 2019. Well, the issue date, and the March 7th of 2019 was the effective date. So yes, under the FMCSA, they are allowed to obtain that license. However, the requirements are that they pass a written test, that they be able to understand our rules and regulations, and that they follow those rules and regulations. The problem isn't just the non-domiciled CDLs. It's like this whole thing in Florida with the fraudulent licenses. We have DMVs all across the country, such as Washington State, California, Illinois, Ohio, Florida, giving licenses to people for either a payback or just because. No testing, no language requirement, nothing. Extremely dangerous to have these people on the road. Well, who's behind all this, Glenn? The big carriers and the big shippers. C.H. Robinson, Amazon, to name two of the biggest. Some of the companies, Super Ego, TVA out of Illinois. Super Ego is huge with that, with these guys, man. They just, they bring these guys on, they sell them a truck, help them get their authority, and then they run those guys just ragged. And they end up having wrecks, trash their own DOT number and their own safety record, but it never affects Super Ego. Amazon does the exact same thing. They hire all these little 1 and 2 and 10 or 100 truck carriers who are running for very little money, so they're hiring the cheapest drivers they can. It's all part of a plan by the government, especially the previous administrations, to force American workers out of their jobs. I know that sounds like a conspiracy theory, but the numbers bear it out. You know, until 2016, there was 500,000 carriers roughly in the United States. US DOT motor carrier numbers that were active. 500,000 trucking companies and a roughly 1.8 million drivers. Now we're sitting at over 1.5 million carriers, almost 3 times the amount of motor carrier numbers out there, trucking companies, whether it be one truck or however many, it doesn't matter, and over 4 million drivers on the road. We don't have the freight to sustain that. That's why rates are low. Keeps it cheap. The American consumer loves that because their Amazon stuff gets shipped to them for free. It's cheap and easy to move. They don't have to pay these guys a lot of money. The drivers that are out there doing this, I posted a video of a couple guys back in a bobtail truck out of a Blue Beacon driveway in Spokane a month or so ago. And those guys, 2 Somali guys, and they could not drive. They were running, they ran over 2 rocks out in the grass along the driveway. I mean, bobtail, no trailer, just straight back. One guy on the ground on his phone, and the other guy was just backing up all over like he was some kind of crackhead drunk rattlesnake, you know? I mean, it was crazy. But these are the people that the states and the government has allowed on the road. This isn't just about us. This is about money. The American Trucking Association is behind this 100%. Let's go back to the beginning of the year in February when Arkansas decided they were going to enforce the English language provision of the FMCSRs, the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Regulations. That went great for about 2 weeks. And then the foreigners started complaining, and these big carriers like Amazon, Super Ego, C.H. Robinson, these big shippers and brokers started complaining about it. They went to the American Trucking Association. The American Trucking Association came in along with the ACLU, threw a bunch of money around, made a bunch of threats, and now Arkansas doesn't do anything. Tell me again how it's not about the money. Like I said, all of this stuff you're seeing is a giant dog and pony show. Robert mentioned in his video 200,000 drivers. I keep seeing the post from it's American Truckers or something like that. Truck Drivers on Facebook, I think, is what the page is. It's just absolutely insane. They're saying that all these drivers are going to lose their license, and they're imagine driving for 10 or 15 years, decades, and being safe and blah, blah, blah. I assure you, if those guys have been here for decades, they most likely can speak the English language and they understand the rules. And if they're breaking the rules, they're doing it intentionally. Therefore, they should not be on the road. If these guys, hold on here. I'm trying to find this page because it's just insane to me what they keep posting here. That how dumb it is. But anyway, they keep saying this in hopes that people will speak out against this action that's going on. Well, I can assure you, the trucking industry and guys like me, we're all for it. Get them off the road. The American public should be all for it. But 200,000, like I said, we've doubled in size since 2016. I would say probably 90% of that doubling are foreign drivers. With all of the American drivers that are getting out of the industry because of these guys, rather than staying in and fighting and standing up for what's right, they're just leaving. You guys are cowards. I'm just going to call you out on it. You're cowards. You're plain and simple cowards. I get it. You can't make the money you used to make. Maybe you're over your head in debt. Whatever. I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me one way or the other. But the fact is, if you're not willing to fight, you're a coward. Well, we can't win anyway. Well, you're never going to win if you don't try. Okay? Plain and simple. That's the old Marine in me coming out. If you don't get in there and fight, you will not win. You'll lose the battle and you will probably die. I have a fight to win attitude. I want to win this. Sean Duffy, Hegseth, President Trump, Vice President Vance, all the governors across the United States. If you want to, meet with me. I would love to have one of you ride in my truck for a week, 5 days straight. Come with me and see the garbage we deal with every single day. The garbage that you guys allowed to happen. Now I know you're all a new administration. We're going to change all this. But some of you were already there. And the fact is, the United States government created this problem. The left wants this problem. They don't want us to be America anymore. They want us to be a third world country, to be a part of the New World Order. And it's not just Democrats, Republicans too. I remember George W. Bush, man, New World Order, New World Order. He was talking about it like crazy back in, 1998, 99? So, yeah, it's not just, or 89 and 90. Sorry, I was off about a decade there. But it's something that they've been trying to do for a long time. Why do you think all of our manufacturing got moved to foreign countries? It wasn't just because of cheap labor. It was because they want to break the American public. This has been something that's been going on for over 50 years. Since the New Deal, and we got all these American jobs back and everything, and people were just making money hand over fist, they were kind of controlling where the politicians went. They didn't like that because the politicians weren't getting near as much money out of them as they are now, with everything being controlled by foreign dignitaries, foreign companies, foreign corporations. And I'll be honest with you, I don't even trust Trump to get this done. I like what he's doing. I like what he says, but at the same time, I don't trust him any farther than I can throw a Volkswagen bus. He's still a politician, just like all the rest of them. Again, giant dog and pony show. They're going to get a few off the road. The American public's going to go, oh yeah, look, they're doing something over there. Yeah. Meanwhile, over here, they're hiding what they're really doing because you're distracted with what's going on over here. Smoke and mirrors. It's a magic trick. That's all it is. It's just distraction. Anyway, that's all I have to say, guys. Write letters to your congressmen, your state senators, your representatives, the president, the vice president, the DOT, the FMCSA. Tell the American Trucking Association to go pound sand. The only thing, and I've said this before, the only thing they do good is their Share the Road program with teenagers going through driver's ed. I've been involved with some of those road team members. Those guys are awesome. But the American Trucking Association as a whole is nothing more than a corrupt organization that's just all about money, and who can give them the most money, that's who they're going to speak for. That's all. Have a great day, everybody. Now that I've completely ruined your mood, stay safe out there. Keep the shiny side up and the greasy side down, and we'll catch you on the flip-flop. See ya.